These are the words of Dr. Claire Weeks. I want you to be able to look clearly into the future and know that your only enemy is fear. Fear alone makes you vulnerable. Anxiety is only an expression of sustained fear. Its symptoms are no more than an exaggerated physical expression of fear. So first appreciate that it is fear and fear alone that can disarm you. Understand that without fear, your adrenaline-releasing nerves lack the stimulus to excite your organs to produce the sensations of anxiety. The next time you feel a spasm of fear, instead of shying away from it and trying to forget it or to control and prevent it coming, as you have done in the past, I want you to examine it as it sweeps through you and even to describe it to yourself, noting in detail its various component sensations. When you do this, you will find that the wave of fear strikes hardest when it first strikes, and that if you stand your ground and relax, it quietens and disappears. When you have learned to face fear this way and see it as no more than a physical feeling, you begin to lose your fear of fear. You step outside a vicious circle. A spasm may come from time to time, but you learn to disregard it. Eventually, it means so little that you hardly notice it in passing. Let the first shock pass. By floating, I mean letting the wave of fear break and sweep past you while you carry on in spite of it. When you can do this, you will retain your ability to think calmly, and calamity can never completely overwhelm you again. The advice given here will definitely cure you if you follow it. This will take some perseverance and courage. The sufferer from anxiety is neither a fool nor a coward, but often a remarkably brave person who fights their anxiety to the best of their ability with commendable, though often misdirected courage. They may fight through almost every waking moment with sweating hands and tense muscles, agitatedly trying to force forgetfulness of their desperate state by consciously concentrating on other things. Fighting is the natural defense, the only weapon one knows, so one fights ever harder. But the harder one fights, the worse one becomes. Naturally, for fighting means more tension. Tension means more adrenaline and further stimulation of the adrenaline-releasing nerves, and so the continuation of symptoms. Sometimes it is difficult for a person to admit to themselves that they are afraid. You can camouflage your fear as intense dislike if it makes you feel happier. This is of no importance, as long as you understand that the physical reactions in your body to intense dislike and fear are so similar that the difference is negligible. These feelings are caused by no more than the fear of the very feelings that fear itself has aroused. The principle of treatment can be summarized as facing, accepting, floating, letting time pass. There is nothing mysterious or surprising about this treatment, and yet it is enlightening to see how many people sink deeper into their anxiety by doing the exact opposite. First, look at yourself and notice how you are feeling. I have no doubt that you are tensely shrinking from the feelings within you, and yet at the same time are ready to listen in apprehension. I want you to do the exact opposite. I want you to be as comfortable as you can, relaxed to the best of your ability, by letting your body sag and taking slow, deep breaths through your partly opened mouth. Now examine and do not shrink from the sensations that have been upsetting you. I want you to examine each sensation carefully, to analyze it and describe it aloud to yourself. Now that you have faced and examined it, is it so terrible? Stop regarding it as some monster trying to possess you. Understand that it is but the working of oversensitized adrenaline-releasing nerves, and that by constantly shrinking from them, you have stimulated an excessive outflow of adrenaline, which has further excited your nerves to produce continual sensations. So, be prepared to accept and live with this for the time being. Accept the feelings as something that will be with you for some time yet, in fact, while you recover, but something that will eventually leave you if you are prepared to let time pass and not anxiously watch the feelings during their passing. But do not make the mistake of thinking that they will go as soon as you cease to fear them. Your nervous system is still tired, and it will take some time to heal, just as a broken leg takes time. However, as you improve and are no longer afraid of the symptoms, and do not try to cure them by controlling them, and are prepared to accept them and work with them present, you will become more interested in other things, and will gradually forget to notice whether the feelings are there or not. This is the way to recover. By true acceptance, you break the fear cycle. From this, you will appreciate that true acceptance is the keystone to your recovery. It takes time for a body to establish acceptance as a mood, and for this eventually to bring peace, just as it took time for fear to become established as continuous tension and anxiety. That is why letting time pass is such an important part of your treatment, and why I shall emphasize it again and again. Time is the answer, but there must be that background of true acceptance while waiting for time to pass. Floating. To float is just as important as to accept, and it works similar magic. I could say let float and not fight be your slogan because it amounts to that. The explanation is simple enough. When you fight, you become tense, and tension inhibits action. When you think of floating, you relax, and this helps action. Masterly inactivity, a well-known phrase, is another way to describe floating. It means to give up the struggle, to stop holding tensely onto yourself, trying to control your fear, trying to do something about it, while subjecting yourself to constant self-analysis. It means to cease trying to navigate your way out of anxiety by meeting each obstacle as if it were a challenge that must be met before recovery is possible. It means to bypass the struggle, to go around, not over the mountain, to float and let time pass. The average person, tense with battling, has an innate aversion to practicing masterly inactivity and letting go. They vaguely think that were they to do this, they would lose control over the last vestige of their willpower and the house of cards would tumble. It is especially to such tense and controlled, nail-digging people that I say, practice masterly inactivity and let go. If your body trembles, let it tremble. Don't feel obliged to try and stop it. Don't try to appear normal. Don't even strive for relaxation. Simply let the thought of relaxation be in your mind, in your attitude towards your body. Loosen your attitude. In other words, don't be too concerned because you are tense and cannot relax. The very act of being prepared to accept your tenseness relaxes your mind, and relaxation of the body gradually follows. You don't have to strive for relaxation. You have to wait for it. Let your body find its own level without controlling or directing it. Believe me, if you do this, you will not lose true control of yourself. You will float up to the surface from the depths of despair. The relief of loosening your tense hold on yourself, of giving up the struggle and recognizing that there is no battle to fight, except of your own making, may bring a calmness that you have forgotten existed within you. In your tense effort to control yourself, you have been releasing more and more adrenaline, and so further exciting your organs to produce the very sensations from which you have been trying to escape. Float past tension and fear. Float past unwelcome suggestions. Float, don't fight. Accept and let more time pass. It may comfort you to know that the action of adrenaline is always restricted to the same organs and so must always follow the same pattern. There are no more surprises in store for you. This thought comforts most people because apprehension of what can happen next is a big part of their anxiety. Having faced and accepted the disturbing sensations of anxiety, your next question will be, how long before I am myself again? Now, it is almost certain that despite your new approach to your sensations, your symptoms will continue to return for some time. You will understand this when you appreciate that your adrenaline-releasing nerves will continue to be fatigued and sensitized for a few weeks longer, in spite of the new approach. Calm acceptance, despite delayed recovery, is your goal. However, although you understand and try to accept calmly, at first you may find calm acceptance very difficult. Do not be disappointed. In the beginning, it is enough to direct your thoughts towards acceptance. Calm acceptance will follow in time. Quick recovery is possible, and when I say you may continue to feel fear and the persistence of symptoms for some time and must be prepared to let more time pass, do not misunderstand and think that I mean all recovery from anxiety is a long drawn-out process. Recovery can be dramatically quick. However, physical exhaustion may delay recovery, but even here, with good food and peace of mind, 2 or 3 months are usually long enough to reclaim a person from anxiety of some severity, provided they do not have too many setbacks. Sometimes, perhaps when you think you are cured, the old fears and strange feelings may sweep over you again, just as intensely as at the beginning. Don't be dismayed. It is not so strange that they should. Memory is vivid and scars fresh. Also, you may have gone in search of these sensations to try yourself out, thinking it's too good to be true that you are free of the wretched things. Go ahead. You can come to no harm. What has cured you in the past will continue to do so, in spite of any setbacks. So, accept each setback quietly and let more time pass. When you have unmasked the bogeyman of nerves, they can never really completely frighten you again. There will always be that inner core of confidence and strength to help you to float past fear. And because this confidence has been born from your experience, you will never quite lose it. You may falter, but you will never be completely overwhelmed again. You recover then by facing, accepting, floating, and letting time pass. Here is a summary of the method. Do not run away from fear. Analyze it and see it as no more than a physical feeling. Do not be bluffed by a physical feeling. Accept all the strange sensations connected with your anxiety. Do not fight them. Float past them. Recognize that they are temporary. Let there be no self-pity. Settle any problems you have as quickly as you can, if not with action, then by accepting them with a new point of view. Waste no time thinking about what might have been, or if only. Face any sorrows that you have and know that time will bring relief. Be occupied. Do not lie in bed brooding. Be occupied calmly, not feverishly trying to forget yourself. Remember that the strength in a muscle may depend on the confidence with which it is used. Accept any obsessions you may have, including obsessive thoughts, and be prepared to live with them temporarily. Do not fight them by trying to push them away. Let time do that. Remember that your recovery does not necessarily depend entirely on you, as so many people are so ready to tell you. You may need help, and accept it willingly without shame. Do not be discouraged if you cannot make decisions while you are feeling anxious. When you are well, it will be easy enough to make those decisions. Do not measure your progress day by day. Don't count the months or years that you have felt anxiety. Once you are on the road to recovery, recovery is inevitable, however long your anxiety may have lasted. Never accept defeat. Remember, it is never too late to give yourself another chance. Face, accept, float, let time pass. If you do this, you must get well.